in the 80s and the 90s when an organization, the Black United Front, the Portland chapter of the National Black United Front, and Portland is organized for Southern African freedom. Some of you remember that time, those times of marching against racist violence, marching against police brutality, marching against apartheid, and for a free South Africa. The marches for equality, non-racist education in Portland public schools. You remember. We, members of the Black United Front, we planned those marches and demonstrations with an emphasis on keeping everybody safe. Everybody. And in the most painful of unjust circumstances, police killings, we intelligently exercised our right to free speech and assembly. We sat down and planned safe marches and demonstrations. We had permits. We had police escorts in all of our demonstrations. Not to have done it that way would have been irresponsible. Not to have done it that way would have been unsafe. Hear me. Getting a permit was not about getting permission. We knew our rights. We know our rights. It's about acting with integrity and being responsible. Our part, owning our part in public safety. That's what we did. We owned our part in safety, in public safety, as we did our work around social justice. And we did the work in partnership with the police because we were intentional about developing and building relationships. And so I come to you today with a plea. Let us be more kind in our day-to-day dealings with one another. All we have on this planet, while we have the planet, is one another. So let us be the city of peace, the city of kindness, and yes, the city of roses.
Amen.
Let us be the beloved community that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. taught us to envision and to embrace. God bless our beloved community. Thank you.
We must always give the Queen the time she needs. Good morning, everyone. I am State Representative Janelle Bynum, and I proudly represent East Portland and North Clackamas in the Oregon State Legislature. I am the proud mother of 4 beautiful children, Christine, Ellis, Caroline, and Asa, and I'm here because I'm fighting for them. Here in Portland, we are an open and free-thinking city, a city of innovators, artists, activists, and entrepreneurs. We're hardworking people making ends meet for our families, and we're people pushing our community to do better. When we are at our best, ours is a city that doesn't just tolerate difference, it welcomes and celebrates it. But we cannot be tolerant in the face of hatred, racism, white supremacy, I'm calling them all, and we will not welcome violence. As many of you know, and some are not ready to admit, but we are a city that is a work in progress. And Lord knows there is more work to be done. We have enough to work on here at home. Building an equitable community, increasing transparency and accountability, and rebuilding trust in law enforcement. We have our hands full without the added burden of senseless violence and chaos from people coming here to make a scene and sow fear. We don't need that. This is our city. This is our home. I am not stuttering. If you are planning to come here and commit violence or spread hate in Portland, we don't want it. You're not welcome here. Thank you. Next up is Commissioner Sushila Jayapal.
Good morning, everybody. I am Sushila Jayapal, your Multnomah County Commissioner from District 2, proudly representing North and Northeast Portland. I come with the same two messages you've heard from all of my colleagues and everybody gathered here behind us. First, to those considering coming to Portland and Multnomah County to incite or inflict violence, you are not welcome here. Racism is not welcome here. White supremacy is not welcome here. Violence is most definitely not welcome here. Those are not the values of Portland and Multnomah County. The second message, to my fellow residents of Portland and Multnomah County, this weekend let's demonstrate that racism, white supremacy, and violence are not welcome here by acting on our values of friendship, love, and connection. Several weeks ago, I had the chance to join the Walk for Immigrants and Refugees, an event organized by Portland's Parks and Recreation that brought together people of all races, ages, and ethnicities to walk together, eat together, dance together, and support each other. That walk showcased the best of who Portland is, who Multnomah County is. A community that aspires to create connection, a community that seeks to bridge, not to divide. We have a lot of work to do on those issues, but those are the values we aspire to. So let's each commit to doing something this weekend that shows who our community is. Let's each commit to doing something that bridges difference and distance and that creates connection. Find an activity in a neighborhood or with a community that you don't know. If you live in Southwest Portland, come to my district, District 2, North and Northeast. If you live in Northeast Portland, explore East Multnomah County. Do something that expresses our Portland and Multnomah County values of friendship, curiosity, love, and connection. By doing that, you will be showing that hatred is not welcome here, racism is not welcome here, violence is not welcome here. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Metro Council Chair Lynn Peterson.
Lynn Peterson, Metro Council. I stand here with our colleagues who have joined me from the Metro Council to stand up against the ideology of hate and violence. We must be opposed to that in the entirety of the Portland metro region, not just in Portland. It's time for anti-American white nationalists to stop marching in our city, in our living room, in our backyard. Metro stands with those opposed to racism. In Portland, in Hillsborough, in Oregon City, in Lake Oswego, in Wilsonville, in the entire region, we must stand against racism. We must stand against white nationalism, and we must stand against this violence. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. My dear sisters and brothers, elected officials, it's really a blessing to be here together. But we, immigrants and refugees, we stand every day in this bigotry and hate. We stand against this bigotry and hate because our faith teaches us that. The Quran teaches us that He made us, God the Almighty, into nations and tribes to get to know each other. The story of Islam has been getting to know each other. When a great Jewish historian, David Westerstein from Vanderbilt University, says that if it wasn't Islam, Judaism wouldn't have survived Christian Europe. We as Muslims, we as Jewish, we as Hindus and Buddhists, and all people of goodwill, we have to stand together because we need to get to know each other. By knowing each other, we'll bust barriers of hate and bigotry within ourselves. Yes, we are fighting those bigots that are planning bigotry every day. But there are bigots and hateful and hypocrites among ourselves. Today, we need to integrate by design the mayor, the commissioners, the state's leadership, the federal agents, and everybody need to integrate by design love and respect and multiracial and multi-ethnic in their offices. My dear sisters and brothers, let us change ourselves. Let us look within each one of us today, that those of us that are here and those that are sitting in the other side, we need to know each other. We need to fight bigotry inside ourselves. Today, our students in public school are not achieving. Minority students are not achieving. The question is to the superintendents, what are you doing in your job? To the board of directors, what are you doing in your job? Today, my dear sisters and brothers, we need to think that each one of us are the seeds of change. Let's not point fingers towards others. Let's look at the fingers, the three fingers that pointing towards me. I can point a finger towards my brother, A.D. Mondene, but there are three fingers are pointing towards me. I need to change within myself so I can be the example, the role model to do that. We stand against Islamophobia. We stand against bigotry and hate. Muslims today is suffering in our United States. Muslims are suffering in Europe. 2 days ago, at the high holiday of Hajj season, a man from Pakistan, Pakistani European from Norway, he stopped a bigot inside the mosque that almost committing a suicide against Muslims worshippers in the early morning prayers. My dear sisters and brothers, let us change ourselves. Each one of us today, those of us that are here, let's look inside ourselves and say, am I a bigot? Am I a hateful person? Am I? Let us claim our humanity. Let us claim our love and respect one another. Today, my dear sisters and brothers, we celebrate so many non-profits that are present here and leaders that are working towards healing and unifying. Let us claim our beloved community. Thank you very much. Let me introduce my dear brother, a great mentor, Eric Ward from the Western States.
You are all beautiful behind me. I want to thank the mayor and speak to the city, to faith, business, and community leaders gathered here for the opportunity to speak. My name is Eric Ward, and I'm Executive Director of Western State Center. And as a person of color who has spent 30 years helping communities stand up to bullies, I know full well the danger posed by far-right paramilitary groups. They are a threat not just to vulnerable communities here in Portland, but to our very democratic institutions and form of government in the United States. But I want to say, there is a right way and a wrong way to tackle threats. We won't keep Portland safe with false equivalencies about violence on all sides. False equivalencies did not protect Ricky Best or Taliesin on the Portland Metro. I think of these lives and the dozens of other lives murdered by white nationalists over the last 3 years. Bodies spread in Portland, Oregon, in Poway, California, in El Paso, Texas. I think of New Zealand, and I think of bodies that are dead in